He was born without wings, but still learned to fly. This was the era of dragons, majestic creatures who ruled the heavens, breathing fire and dancing among the clouds with scales that shimmered like gold. But in the shadow of these great beasts lived one dragon named Ryu, who was born different because he was born without wings. While his brothers possessed massive, powerful wings that could eclipse the sun, Ryu was left to crawl in the cold mud of the earth like a common snake. And every day, the other dragons would swoop down, casting giant shadows over him, laughing and saying, "You are a mistake of nature, Ryu, for the sky is for gods and the dirt is for worms, so you will never fly." The mockery cut deeper than any blade, and the loneliness was a heavy burden. But Ryu had a secret hope because he had heard a myth that at the very highest peak of the Forbidden Mountain, there grew a single magical star fruit. And it was said that if a dragon ate this fruit, he would instantly sprout wings of pure light. The mountain, however, was a vertical spire of razor-sharp granite, piercing the clouds and surrounded by freezing winds that could freeze a soul in an instant. And for years, Ryu stood at the base of this mountain, paralyzed by fear, looking up at the impossible height, while his mind filled with doubts about whether he was strong enough or if the fruit even existed. It was in that moment of freezing hesitation that Ryu realized the first and most important lesson of his life, which was that he had to learn how to stop overthinking instantly, realizing that the mountain wouldn't get smaller by looking at it, and his fear wouldn't disappear by thinking about it. So he dug his claws into the hard stone and began the climb. The first step was agony, and the second was worse. But as he climbed, the sharp rocks tore at his belly, and his claws cracked under the weight of his body. And as he bled, his blood dripped down from the high cliffs and fell onto the white trees waiting below. This journey of pain and persistence is what transforms Ryu's tale from a simple myth into a powerful motivational story in English. Because it wasn't a journey of magic, it was a journey of grit, where every inch was a battle against gravity and doubt. As he climbed higher, the air grew thin, and his muscles screamed for mercy. Yet he looked down to see the world getting smaller, realizing that he was writing his own destiny with every painful inch. Which makes this narrative an excellent resource for English listening practice as you follow the emotional rhythm of his struggle. For anyone who is struggling right now, perhaps with a difficult exam or a challenging language barrier, Ryu's climb serves as the ultimate study motivation story, reminding you that progress is made in inches, not miles. And just like Ryu, you must endure the winter to reach the spring. As Ryu continued his ascent, bleeding and exhausted, the blood he shed soaked into the roots of the white trees far below, turning their petals into a deep, vibrant pink, a symbol of struggle turning into beauty. And this transformation is the core of this English story, illustrating that our scars are often the source of our greatest beauty. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Ryu pulled his battered body over the final ledge and reached the summit, gasping for air with his heart pounding like a war drum, only to look around and find that there was nothing. The peak was empty. There was no magic fruit, and no wings of light were waiting for him. The devastation washed over him as he felt he had suffered for nothing. But then Ryu stood up, walked to the edge of the cliff, and looked down to see the trail of pink flowers he had created with his struggle, and he felt his legs, which were now bulging with muscle and hard as iron forged by the climb. He realized he didn't need wings, so he took a deep breath and jumped. And instead of falling, he ran upon the wind itself, stepping on the air with the raw power he had built, making this twist a truly life-changing story for anyone who feels they are lacking talent. If you are ready to turn your own struggles into strength, don't let this journey end here. Join our tribe of climbers by subscribing to Meta Bloom Stories, because just like the sakura, we are here to help you bloom every single day. If you are looking to learn English through story narration, let Ryu's realization be your guide that you don't need magic to succeed, you need the climb. This is not just a fairy tale, it is a motivational story for the real world. And these kinds of English stories for learning are essential because they bridge the gap between entertainment and education.